We get a surprise return that really isn't all that surprising, but is kind of surprising. Didn't see it coming this week. We have some implications for the Elimination Chamber, storyline development, and more. These are my assorted thoughts on the February 7th, 2025 WWE Smackdown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. From Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion pieces, WWE Premium Live Event, prediction and review videos, and of course, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. Now, it's currently February the 9th, Super Bowl Sunday, around 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to watch the big game with my brother and a bunch of people. With football, as with hockey, I'm more of a bandwagon jumper or a watch the big game kind of guy, rather than a regular watcher. That said, we're here to talk about SmackDown. Yes, Jey Uso is still really over. That whole encore on the intro on Raw turns out wasn't a fluke. They did it again this time. I don't know how many times they're going to keep doing that. They are going to Europe after all. They might be milking this for a while. It might be commonplace that Jey Uso gets 2 introductions. Anyways, the crowd was really hot. And of course, he was here on SmackDown with Cody Rhodes, a potential person he's going to challenge at WrestleMania, though I really don't think so. And this exchange here just solidified in my mind that it's sort of a red herring. They're just getting Jey on SmackDown, the team with Cody. But I'm pretty sure he's still going to pick Gunther because Cody and Jey didn't make sense before and still doesn't make sense as a WrestleMania main event. I'm sure it'd be a great match, but no, we want Cody versus Gunther. And they have a lot of respect for each other. They're both really over baby faces. We'd be dealing with like a Hogan Warrior situation where none of them really had to pass the torch. You just have Jey go after Gunther. Regardless, the promo was, of course, interrupted by Jacob Fatu and then later Tama Tonga. And that led to a really excellent main event match at the end of the show, or an excellent sounding main event match. Cody and Jey worked really well together as a team against Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Jacob Fatu, of course, stayed strong. It was Tama Tonga that took the pin after a couple of crossroads. You kind of saw that one coming. It's interesting because it's reinforcing the fact that despite being now kind of over with the crowd, Jacob Fatu is still a heel and still not friends with Jey Uso or Cody. But of course, the main takeaway from this match is what happened after. We got the, like I said, sort of surprise return of Solo Sikoa and a hoodie. I think they should really market these hoodies with like official Bloodline hoodies or New Bloodline, not called the New Bloodline anymore hoodies. There's something, this family and apparently Drew McIntyre and even Sami Zayn, who's sort of connected to the family, they all seem to really love their hoodies. I wasn't expecting Solo back at this point. That's why it's still kind of a surprise return. I thought they were helping Jacob and Tama sort of develop on their own as this new faction. But the fact that Solo's back, maybe it's something to distract Cody Rhodes until ultimately he fights his Elimination Chamber opponent. Because I'm pretty sure Jey is going to stick with Gunther, like I said before. It's interesting to have Solo back into the mix. I'm wondering what kind of promos he's going to cut. He's still, even though they're not calling themselves the New Bloodline anymore, he lost the whole tribal chief thing. So maybe he has to redefine this new faction. I think it's a little too early for Jacob to turn on him and become a babyface, but I'm definitely interested to see where this is going. And I'm kind of interested the person he went after first was Cody. Who knows? Maybe we'll have Cody versus Solo again at Elimination Chamber. That's still a pretty good match. It might bring Roman back. Who knows? We'll see. I am intrigued. Charlotte Flair getting booed on Raw wasn't a fluke either. SmackDown definitely sees her as a heel. She came out, cut a really heelish promo, but I guess that's what you expect from her now. And while I don't think they've officially fully committed to it yet, it's clear they're going to make her against Tiffany at WrestleMania, and Tiffany is going to be a babyface because look, we have Charlotte talking down to her, calling her basically a child, demanding her to beg for a match. Like, that's the perfect heel stuff against a babyface Tiffany. And who comes out to challenge Tiffany for next week? But, well, I mean, I thought it was going to be at Elimination Chamber, Tiffany versus Nia, the rematch. But apparently it's going to be next week on SmackDown because Charlotte has to watch that match and make her decision. But we get Nia Jax with Candice LeRae. And then they're joined by Alexa Bliss, who has a match against Candice. So that's a good segue. They're not really mixing Alexa into this whole story yet. So Although who knows, maybe in the future her with versus Nia or whatever could be interesting. But yeah, I'm surprised they're doing this match so soon, but I'm pretty sure Tiffany is going to retain, especially seeing as it's next week. And I think Charlotte is going to pick Tiffany. Maybe another hint at Rhea on Raw. Who knows? And Alexa Bliss is going to the Elimination Chamber. She beat Candice LeRae, and they definitely are implying that Alexa is involved with the Wyatts. We did see that little bit of a signal glitch a couple of times near the end of the match. And this time, it wasn't a screw up based on transmission to Netflix headquarters or whatever on Raw, where it clearly was an actual technical screw up. This was definitely planned. And they also had Candice LeRae attacking Alexa's doll, which implies that that's still where Alexa maybe gets her power from. And she ended up winning the match and going wild after that. So they're definitely connecting her with the Wyatts. And they're calling her finisher move. It's not the Sister Abigail anymore. It's the Abigail DDT. I think that's the official name of the move, or maybe when Alexa does it, that's the official name of the move. I think when Uncle Howdy does it, it's still the Sister Abigail. So I'm hearing different theories, and I'm coming up with my own theories. Obviously, she's going to be involved with the Wyatts, but who are the Wyatts going to go after? Maybe Judgment Day. People have suggested that, specifically Alexa Bliss going after Liv Morgan. After all, it was Liv who eliminated her in the Royal Rumble, and they both have a very similar type of look. Of course, I have other theories for Liv and Raquel. Maybe they mix in with this. Who knows? And there's other theories involved Bianca Belair and Naomi. So you know what? They might actually mix in because Bianca Belair and Naomi, maybe something happens with Jade. It's revealed who attacked Jade Cargill, and maybe it was Naomi, and maybe there's a distraction, and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez take advantage of that and become women's tag team champions, but they're still part of Judgment Day, and then maybe they're fighting the Wyatt Six at WrestleMania while holding the tag titles. I kind of would like those tag titles to have their own match of importance at WrestleMania, but if maybe Bianca and Naomi are fighting or something with Jade, and the titles are on Liv and Raquel, and they're somehow involved with the Wyatt thing, I'm okay with that. All that to say, the segue here really is that Bianca Belair is going to the Elimination Chamber. Maybe that's some potential tension with Naomi in the future, if Naomi either gets into the chamber or doesn't. Who knows? Always not good to see Piper Niven lose, but I'm glad Bianca won. And there was another Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Drew McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. Now, before I talk about that, I just want to observe the fact that the women's matches on SmackDown and Raw to qualify for the Elimination Chamber are singles matches. The men's matches on Raw to qualify so far are singles matches. But yet the men's matches to qualify on SmackDown are triple threat matches. That's just a weird metric. It's very inconsistent. But you know what? If it makes sense storyline-wise, ultimately, I'm okay with it. I just think there should be a little bit more consistency. Anyways, so we got Drew McIntyre giving his happy promo where he's still complaining about everything. Jimmy Uso comes down. Big Jim. I like this Big Jim branding. I hope that sticks. Comes down, cuts a good promo on Drew. Let's see a feud between these guys. And probably my favorite promo of the night, LA Knight. Yeah. Actually, he starts his promo. Then he mentions something. He actually gives a very important message for like men and boys, basically for mental health. You know, if you feel you need to cry, it's okay to cry. And that was a very appropriate thing to say, almost as a caveat before going into his promo accusing Drew McIntyre of crying all the time. And I love how he segued from his important message to, but sometimes you can do it too much. Drew Cryentire, I don't know if that's going to, I heard the crowd chanting that a bit. Don't know if it's going to stick on. Also, I love how he referenced the reports backstage that Drew McIntyre ran out, was pissed with him because he had to get his stuff in. He even said, I got to get my stuff in. LA Knight, yeah. The match itself was quite good. A lot of this is awesome chants, deservedly so. My favorite match of the night. We had the classic spot of Drew pulling the ref out of the ring when Big Jim had LA Knight pinned. I mean, they do that Not too much. They do that kind of a lot, but it's they limit it enough so that it actually does have an impact when it happened. The last time I think was Ludwig Kaiser pulling the ref out when Sheamus was going to beat Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. Perfectly legitimate cheating way to win in a triple threat match because it's not cheating. And Drew McIntyre joins John Cena and CM Punk in the Elimination Chamber. Pretty sure Logan Paul is going to win the next one. I'm not sure who's going to win in the triple threat between Damian Priest, Braun Strowman, and Jacob Fatu, though I kind of think it's going to be Jacob Fatu. Unless they want to have Priest in there to have him fight off with Drew, who knows? But I think Fatu is somebody, him staying in a cage, when he gets released from that cage in the Elimination Chamber, he's going to run roughshod, although it's going to be kind of hard to explain why he doesn't win. DIY trying to do a moment of silence for MCMG was a perfectly dickish heel move, and I like the response that we get a match between them and Pretty Deadly announced by Nick Aldis, and I'm really happy that Pretty Deadly won. Yeah, it seemed like it wasn't that fair for them to even have this match towards DIY, but the fact that they're now going the baby face route and they're actually number one contenders for the tag team championships, or they're going to have a title match, I think that's good. I think Pretty Deadly are taking on a new level besides being comedic heel characters. In fact, them as baby faces, if they bring a bit of the comedy back after they're already established, that could be really interesting. I heard the reason Kevin Owens cuts promos from his car is because his house is very loud. Apparently he has 6 kids. Anyways, regardless, he cut a promo. He's still in his own mind starting to making sense to a certain point, but he's making a lot less sense now because he's talking about Sami Zayn, and Sami was clearly there to support him, just he wasn't going to cheat for him. And Kevin Owens now thinks that cheating for him is the only way you can be a real friend. In his own mind, it does make sense. Another great heel promo from Kevin Owens. I'm wondering if they're going to do Owens and Zayn in the Elimination Chamber just because it's in Toronto. That might be an interesting match, but I think they should probably save it for WrestleMania. Carmelo Hayes versus Akira Tozawa was a good match, or rather a better match than it should have been. But I kind of wanted Tozawa to win, but obviously you're not going to do that to Melo, who's suffered a whole bunch of losses. But at least Tozawa put on a good show, and eventually Melo won. And these were my assorted thoughts on the February 7th, 2025 WWE Smackdown. That Smackdown from Memphis, Tennessee. And of course, we saw the King of Memphis, Jerry the King Lawler, in the crowd. It was nice. I know he's had some health issues, but it's nice he's, showing up on TV. Also, we found out Drew McIntyre lives in Nashville, apparently. I didn't realize that. I mean, I know he doesn't actually still live in Scotland, but you kind of don't associate him with a place in the U.S. Anyways, regardless, did you agree with my thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. I'll be back with my assorted thoughts on Raw, and I'll try and get a wrestling opinion video out there. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.